Hi, I'm Bill McLaughlin, Editor-in-Chief of Furniture Today. I'm here this morning with Bob Maricich, CEO of, and I have to practice this, ANDMORE, formerly known as IMC.
I'm proud of you. You've made the transformation.
Absolutely.
Along with us.
I know you talked with our Cindy Hodnett a little bit about this in Atlanta, but for those who may not have seen that, explain a little bit about why the name change.
Well, we're at a pivot point with our organization, and that pivot point is really becoming an omni-channel market maker, where obviously between High Point and Atlanta and a little bit in New York and here in Las Vegas, we've got a big physical market presence. But bringing technology in to the business and connecting buyers and sellers outside of market 365 days a year, that's the future. And the tools to do that are all around us. And then it kind of resonated as well from a culture standpoint about doing more for buyers, doing more for sellers, but doing more for each other and doing more for our communities and doing more for the industry. And so it's a cultural transition, and it's also a business transformation.
So you did have a market in Atlanta where you probably got some feedback. What was people's response? Are they starting to understand what that means? Do you think there's still more work to do? How does that play out as it changes? That's a big change.
I think that, first of all, they get it. And the cleverness of ANDMORE, and that it could be available. The URL site, 188 ANDMORE, all of that being available is pretty amazing. And then you become aware about how often people say "and more" in their own vocabulary. I think a lot are waiting for our digital innovations group to deliver more on our at-market app, and then the seller side of that equation. So I think everybody is in anticipation of what the more really means.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the business and how business is going. We're here in Las Vegas, balmy 112 degrees. What's your expectation for the market this time around?
Well, first of all, registrations are basically the same as they were last July. But as you know, there's an attrition from registration to actual attendance. There's got to be a correlation between open to buy and attendance. And I would suspect this could be soft just because everything you're writing about, everything that I'm hearing, is business is really soft in the furniture space. Maybe less in the home decor space, but business is really challenging, and there may not be a lot of open to buy. The good news there is the people that are here haven't opened to buy. They're not coming to get cooled off at the pool.
Right.
They're coming to do business, and so they're serious. And virtually every seller here wants to get in front of buyers. And the buyers are going to get in front of are here, as I said, to buy.
I think there's a misconception sometimes that busy elevators, crowds at the lunch line equates to more business. And sometimes that's not the case. It's effective traffic and people who, as you say, are here with dollars to spend and have needs.
It's buying power.
Right.
It's absolutely buying power. And you see a dynamic, and particularly with interior designers, where you'll look and see there's an interior designer that may go to the High Point market every third market. It's not because the market has less value, they just don't have a project. And when they do, there's no better place to go than a market, High Point or Atlanta or here.
So working with all of the exhibitors, and you get a real sense of how business is trending. As you look out through the end of this year into the first quarter, what's your prognosis? What's your sense of where we're headed?
You know me to be an optimist for as many years as we've had a dialogue. I'm not very optimistic. In the last 50 years, every time there's been a downturn in housing, it's not been good for the furniture industry. Clearly there's a downturn in housing. Clearly interest rates are higher. Clearly the cost of debt is higher. And I think it's going to be a slog. Who knows how long? But I think it's going to be challenging times, and for the companies that have a strong balance sheet and they're getting in front of customers at every opportunity, they'll get through this. It's a cycle.
So I want you to put on your former president of a furniture company hat for a second. When you're dealing with a slog, you know it's going to be tough. What are the things you focus on? What are the things you need to do to get through the other side?
First of all, it's an incredible opportunity for gaining market share. And so playing to win. Now, it's hard to play to win if you don't have the capital structure or you've got way too much of the wrong inventory. But it's a time of opportunity for market share. And then there's one thing that a common element in all of that is being in front of as many customers as you can. You've got to double down on having your sales force out more, selling more, getting more up to bats, coming to more markets, all of those things. Because maybe there's not going to be $110 billion of furniture sold next year. Maybe it's only going to be 100. That's still a lot of furniture.
Yeah, and a piece of that is still a big piece.
It is. It is. And, you know, we talk to buyers. They're looking for new ideas. They're looking for new resources. They're looking for new channels of distribution. We just had really kind of a record attendance in Atlanta with the casual market, the outdoor market, because there was a whole group of buyers that weren't going to Chicago. But in Atlanta they came and they saw a whole new category that very much excited them.
Do you think the casual market in Atlanta might actually pull more furniture people, perhaps who, you know, they have outdoor, they're going to come see the outdoor, there's not a lot of other places to see it. Might you not start to pull in more furniture stores to Atlanta?
I think without a doubt. We've already seen some traction that way. And from a seller standpoint, it's a different audience than comes to Atlanta, or excuse me, to High Point, or comes to Las Vegas. The interior designers tend to be very loyal to a market. And so if you want to get in front of that audience, you need to be there. So I think so. We've already seen the traction. The 6th floor was a temporary floor, and we've already got enough interest to turn that into a permanent floor. So it's happening.
Oh, that's a quick start.
It is.
Congratulations. Thanks for taking the time, as always. Really appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure, Bill. Good to be with you.
I'm Bill McLaughlin, wishing you a great market.